If you need to take it up a notch or a couple notches when it comes to the sound of your 2016 or newer 6.2 liter Camaro, this Corsa Performance Xtreme Axle-Back exhaust with the quad tips will be a great way to do it. Now, the Corsa Xtreme series in the car industry is just known to produce a lot of sound with a good tone, and this is exactly what it's going to do for your 6.2 liter if you want an aggressive axle-back for your Camaro that's going to be sure to turn some heads. Now, because this is an axle-back though, it's not going to be outrageous, which will make it great if you don't want to completely startle your neighbors. And on the scale of 1 to 5, 1 being stock and 5 being wake the neighbors, I would put this at a solid 4. Now, not only will this bring quality sound to the table, but quality materials as well for you guys out there that want the peace of mind that you're getting an exhaust is going to hold up for an impressively long time and look good doing it, especially with those quad black tips on the back. Now, the big takeaway with this system here is going to be sound, and it's going to feature a lot of it with an aggressive volume and rich tone, which is really going to elevate the presence of your LT1 or 4 without making it drony when you're cruising on the highway, thanks to the Reflective Sound Cancellation Technology. Now, you'll also be able to hear a good amount of the exhaust when you get on it, but again, this is going to remain comfortable inside the cab and be perfect for the Camaro owner who enjoys to hear a good downshift or rip off the line. The system will also free up some restriction with a 9% increase in airflow, which will help a little in efficiency as far as that is concerned, and it's going to be a great supporting mod to anything else you've done, especially if you're working with the LT4 or add in an X pipe to match with it in the future. Now, it's also going to save you about 5 pounds compared to your factory system if you're counting every pound when it comes to your build, while also offering you a way better appearance compared to stock. Now, like I mentioned off the rip, this is going to be made of quality materials and made right here in the US with a 2 3/4 inch diameter mandrel-bent 304 stainless steel. Now, one, that's going to offer smooth and direct airflow, and 2, the 304 is going to be incredibly rust resistant, giving you some peace of mind that this is going to hold up even in the rust belt. This is also going to have some pretty quality welds as far as the mufflers and down to this tailpipe is concerned, which is just going to elevate the quality that you see out of this setup. Now, on the back, the quad tips are going to have a 4-inch diameter, and they are going to be 304 as well as covered in a black chrome, which is going to be great if you're looking for that more aggressive appearance. Now, this is also going to come with all of the clamps that you need for install, and I would like to mention that this is going to require some modification with a cut and clamp install. However, we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Now, with the premium setup does come a premium price point, and this is going to come in at around $2,000. Now, what I will say is that you are definitely getting what you pay for in the quality and the materials. They're going to last, it's going to have a unique tone, and an insane amount of volume that you're getting from an axle-back. Also, the fact that this is going to offer that without any pesky drone, thanks to the technology included. Now, of course, the look on the back is also going to be the cherry on top that'll leave you looking back at your car every time when you walk away. So in my opinion, I think if you're in search of a premium exhaust system that's going to offer all of that, then this is going to be a great one to choose. Now, install again is going to require some modification, so I am going to give it a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you roughly 3 hours to get the job done. Now, at this point, we can head over to our shop and show you how to get this onto your Camaro at home. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
For this install, you will need an impact, a ratchet, 13mm, shallow and deep 15mm sockets, 8mm ratchet wrench, hanger removal tool, lubricant, a Sharpie, a Sawzall or cutting tool of your choice. Also not shown here is a pole jack or a jack and jack stance. What's up guys, today we're going to be doing an exhaust on our Camaro, but before we get started we're going to send you to watch a short video on how to uninstall your factory setup as well as cut off your factory muffler, and then we'll see you when you get back.
So our first step to removing our exhaust is going to be to disconnect our valves. Now these are going to be found on the outside of each side tip. So we'll get the harness, press the tab, and disconnect them. So now our first step is going to be to disconnect the wiring harness to our valve controller. So to do that, we're going to remove these two 7mm bolts to clear up some access. You're going to have to take these out later on eventually because we're going to have to slide our exhaust back this way and the valves are going to slide under this. So I'll get a 7mm socket to get these off. Then we can push that back out of the way and then reach in there and disconnect our wire harness. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So the factory exhaust system has 6 hangers. We have 2 here, and then 2 by our tips. So we're gonna remove the inner 4 here. That way we can still have our 2 hangers in the back holding our exhaust up while we disconnect our flanges up front. So we can get the 2 on our passenger side first. So I'll grab an exhaust hanger remover tool and pop off these isolators. And then on this one, the hanger on our pipe's a little longer than the one from our chassis. So we'll pop off our top isolator, and then we can pop it off at the bottom and slide it back on the top. Now we can do the same thing on our driver's side. Now our next step is to remove our brace here. We have 5 13mm bolts holding that in. So I'll get a 13mm socket on an impact gun to get these off. Now our next step is going to be to disconnect our O2 sensors on both sides. Now you can do this either by unscrewing the O2 sensor or simply just unplugging the harness. We're going to unplug the harness. So there's a white tab that you're going to push up and then push in, and then it will separate our connector. So we'll take our white tab, push up on it, and then we can press down and slide our connector out. Now this side's going to be the same thing, just a little deeper in there. Pull back on that tab, and then disconnect our connector. So now we can work on our 2 flanges. We'll get those disconnected with a 15mm socket. I've got a pole jack here to hold the exhaust in place so it doesn't drop down once we disconnect it. And then once we have our 2 flanges disconnected, we'll grab a buddy to help us pull the whole exhaust out of the car. So now on this side, we don't have much clearance, so I'm gonna get a 15mm socket with a ratchet on this side, and then we can use our impact gun on this side. So I've got some penetrating lubricant I sprayed on here just to make it a little bit easier to get these off. Now on this side, we can use a 15mm socket on an impact gun to loosen this clamp. So now I have a pole jack set up underneath our muffler to keep it in place. And then we're going to be removing the 2 bolts on our hanger on both sides to release the muffler. So now we can take a 15mm socket on a ratchet to get our 2 nuts off. And then we'll do that same thing on the other side. So now would be a good time to grab yourself a buddy, and you can take one end while your buddy takes the others. And then we'll just simply slide it out and remove it from the car. So now with the exhaust removed from our car, we can take our valves off. Now we'll be using a 5/16 inch ratcheting wrench to remove this. And then we can repeat that same process on the other side. And now we can remove our final 2 hangers on our stock exhaust using an exhaust hanger remover tool. So now with our stock exhaust removed, we're going to come to right behind the rear muffler where we're going to make our cut for our new exhaust. So now we can grab our tape measure and a marker, and we're going to measure out 8 inches from the rear muffler back. 8 inches puts us right here, so we'll make our line. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. Measure out our 8 inches and mark our spot. So now with our measurements made and our cut lines in place, you can grab yourself a Sawzall or your cutting apparatus of choice and a pair of safety glasses, and we can make our cuts. And now that we have our exhaust flipped over to the other side, to make it a little bit easier to cut, we can make our cut on our other pipe. So now with our cuts made, we're going to take a wire wheel to clean up our edges a little. So now with our exhaust cut and our edges cleaned up, now's a good time to grab yourself a buddy to help you line up the secondary cats in the front while you get the hangers into the isolators. Now we'll reinstall our 2 15mm nuts on our passenger side secondary cat. Now we'll take a 15mm socket, going back and forth, tightening these down to put even pressure on our flange. And then we'll take a 15mm socket to tighten down the clamp on our driver's side. And now we can reconnect our O2 sensor harness. So we're going to slide that up out of the way so that it doesn't hang on anything hot or moving. And then we'll just click it in like that. And now we can reinstall our brace with our 5 13mm bolts. And then we'll just make sure all of our holes are centered. And then take our 13mm socket to tighten these bolts down.
Alrighty guys, welcome back. Now that we've shown you how to prep everything in your factory setup, as far as removing it, cutting it to length, and getting your midsection back on, we can go ahead and install our new mufflers now. So we're gonna go ahead and grab our provided clamp, slide that over our slip joint first. We're gonna go ahead and slip that onto our factory section here. Now, this may be a bit of a tight fit at first for you. Go ahead and work that into place. It's okay if this does slide back. Go ahead and get that on. Then we can go ahead and get our hanger into our isolator, and we've gone ahead and lubricated that. Highly recommended, as it will make your life easier. Go ahead and get this over into position. Pop that on. Make sure this is pretty straight. So now that we have our muffler sections on, we can go ahead and install our tip sections. So we'll swap over our factory isolator for our tips. Go ahead and pop that on there. Then we'll go ahead and put on one of our provided clamps. We'll go ahead and slide this into position. And get that on there. We'll slide this up. Get our isolator onto the factory mounting studs. Then we can go ahead and get our factory 15mm nuts back onto our mounting studs here. And once we have those on, we can go ahead and repeat this process for the other side. Then we can go ahead and tighten everything down. Now we can go ahead and tighten down our isolator nuts using our 15mm socket on our ratchet. So now we'll go ahead and make sure our muffler and our tips are in the position we want, and we'll tighten down our clamps using our 15 mil socket on our impact. And we can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. So if your car has active exhaust like ours, there's a couple options since this system does not come with a mount or bracket for your active exhaust servo motor. One is you could get a tuner or a calibrator to turn off that system so your vehicle doesn't try to read it, or you can do the easy route, which we're going to do for demonstration purposes, is take the motor itself. We're just going to plug it right back in as if it was in the system, and then we're just going to secure it up out of the way. Now you can do this however you like, but the easiest solution here, you pop it back in like so, and then we're just going to use a zip tie and secure it up out of the way. Now again, this is simply to keep your car thinking that your active exhaust is on, but if you were to buy a tuner or something like that separate and go ahead and tune that out, there would be no need for this. So once you have it done for this side, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. Alrighty guys, that about wraps up our review and install of our Corsa Performance Xtreme Axle-Back exhaust with quad black tips for your 16 to 23 6.2 liter Camaro. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Camaro, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.